Wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Joel, this is going to turn into a snuff film.
Oh, the Mads wouldn't do this. This is not a snuff film, I guarantee you.
Well, good morning. It's Monday again, and it's time for yet another week of work here at Aztek Dummy. And this week we're working on two very distinctly different projects. We're going to be finishing up, or at least, I don't know, I keep saying finishing. We may finish the Satellite of Love. I did a little work over the weekend to put some more photo etch on, so the etching continues. And we're also going to be working on a very different kit, very as ridiculous as this kit is, the other is sublime. And let me go take the camera in the other room and show you that one. And this, as you might have guessed by looking at the huge boxes, is the new Moebius Batgirl resin kit. And people, I've had more than one person, so I can say people ask me, Lou, you always seem to be building Moebius kits. Why don't you build anybody else's kits? It's like, well, here's the thing. Moebius is making the kits that I want to build. The subject matter, Moebius and Round 2 are, and Pegasus to a smaller extent, they're just making the kits I want to build. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go out and buy a tank kit just to build a tank kit, because I'm not, frankly, not interested in building tank kits. They're lovely things and they're beautiful when they're done right. It's just not my bag of tea. So yes, it's another Moebius kit, so sue me. This is a weird duck though, because it is a mass-produced resin kit. And it is packaged like nobody's business, because resin is fragile and can break, so they package it very, very well. Now I'm sure you've seen other reviews of this kit by now, so I'm not going to bore you with the part breakdown, but it is ridiculously simple. It is almost remedial in its simplicity as far as the difficulty of the build. And when you get to a kit of this quality, there are a couple bubbles that need to be taken care of. There's one there on the shoulder, but really there's no seam work here that needs to be worked. This is what you're seeing. It looks like bubbles is actually little bits of styrofoam that are stuck on there. So once I dust those off, you don't, there's just nothing to clean up here. Every seam that you see is supposed to be there because it's in the costume. There is really nothing that needs to be sanded down or taken care of. But here's the deal. This kit is amazingly simple. Like I said, almost remedially simple. But look at that face. That face demands that you learn how to paint faces, which has always been something I have never been that good at. So that's where all of my time is going to be spent on practically this piece by the time you put the cowl over top of it. Let me get the rest of these pieces out and kind of slap it together to show you what it looks like. I want to start with this big chunk of resin that is the base. I mean, this is a couple of pounds worth of resin by itself, and could really do a serious damage on somebody if you wanted to conk them on the head with it. But like I've said, a ridiculously small part count. This looks like a bit of, you know, how many times have you seen one foot go this way and the other foot go the complete opposite direction? But that is the pose from the famous publicity still that Yvonne Craig did of Batgirl in the costume. Now this kit is going to be, every bit of it is going to be about the finishes. It's going to be how good is the face painted, how realistic are the rocks, did you get the right metallic look for, I'm trying to do this on camera, did you get the right look for the metallic jumpsuit or catsuit or batsuit for lack of a better term? Do the fabrics look right? Does the hair look right? That's what this is about, because like I said, it's a ridiculously small part count. Look, upper body, lower body, body done, 2 pieces, a couple of arms. Most of the work is going to be spent on this piece and the hair. This is a nice sized head when you're done with it, but and it goes in there, and the cape fits on it beautifully. So these are the two kits that I will be concentrating on this week. Weather's going to be warming up outside, so I can get some primer on these parts, but first I need to wash them very well. Pull the camera back so you can get an idea of just how impressively tall this kit will be when it is assembled. These are the parts just loosely fit together, and it stands about, I'm lousy at measuring without a ruler next to me, but I'm going to say 16 to 18, maybe 20 inches tall by the time you put it around the base. It's listed as a 1/5 scale model kit, so take that as you will as to how tall Miss Craig was in real life, but that makes for an impressive stand. Now this is loosely affiliated with the rest of the Batman figures. It is separate and apart in that there will be a in-scale Batgirl to go with the rest of the styrene kits, but this being a somewhat special subject to the people at Moebius, they wanted to go all out and make a nice bigger version strictly in resin, and there are the other bits. So maybe do a little pinning together, a little bit of gluing, and some priming next. Okay, here we are Monday afternoon, and I am dangerously close to overworking this, really to the point of diminishing returns. I think I've got the major features on. I've got as many of these on as I have maps for. I know, Elliot, you gave me this wonderful etch of parts for the dish antenna for that guy there, and it's your fault you didn't give me any instructions, so I scrapped these and went with my own basic idea and used the back of a googly eye, or the front of a googly eye, for the dish, and I'm hoping once I get a coat of primer on there you'll see what it looks like. But I thought that was easier than trying to punch one of these. I may add more stuff to this, but right now I can't really see the forest for the trees, and once I put a coat of primer on it, maybe I'll see where I'm missing some spots. But I think I've got the major features covered, even though they're never going to be as identical as the model, the reference photos. So let this sit for a while, and I'm going to hit it with a coat of primer and see where we go from there. And here's the satellite with a nice coat of primer on it. I confess, getting a little lost in the weeds here. Couldn't quite see what was ship and what was brass. So putting a light coat on that unifies all those colors, and it really makes you see what areas need more detail and what areas to leave alone and what area. See, this is pointed out another big problem. It's not very stable. I need to put it on a stand. I need to figure out something to do with it to display. But it certainly has a lot more in common with those pictures now than it did before. Okay, I'm taking a break from the satellite to work on Batgirl and trying to find a good tone and some good color choices for not only her batsuit, but for the gloves and the other accents. And I prefer to work smart, not hard, so I'm looking for what's the best out of the can solution I can find. And what I've got is this purple for the gloves, also for the boots, is a stock Krylon color. And what I've done, I've also sprayed that color on the arm. Let me put this down and make it easier to handle. On the arm, but then this arm is actually three colors. It is that stock purple, and then it is a light overspray of Tamiya metallic purple, but I didn't like the flakes in it. I didn't think the flakes were big enough, so there is a clear glitter over top of that yet, which has a little bit more of a silver base to it. So that gives me the see if I can focus in on it. Gives me the glitters that I want and the purple that I want. So now that I think I've got this good experiment, I'm going to carry it over the rest of the catsuit. And here we are back indoors now. I don't always trust the colors indoors, so I always take them outside to look at them in the sunlight. But it's basically Krylon Color Master Gloss Rich Plum. That is the color of the gloves, and I'm going off of not only this printed piece, but this artwork here, which is the wraparound from the box. And of course I'm checking it with Blu-rays of the episodes to see how it looks in different light. But that's basically the three colors. That is the Gloss Rich Plum, which is a dead ringer for the glove color, I believe. This guy here. And then on top of that is the Tamiya transparent, I'm sorry, it's the metallic purple. And then over top of that, just as a last added bonus, is a light spritz of the silver glitter spray, which is basically a clear pigment. No, not a lot of pigment, but some silver glitter inside it. And I'm not, as far as application, I'm not, just laying on the spray. I'm kind of like spraying, little mists of it and, running the part through it so that it doesn't get too bombarded by any one color. And that's the straight Tamiya metallic purple, and I think it makes a nice satiny cape. And let's see, this is the little bit of the cowl color. Now the very darkest color, which is inside the ears and the front of this, will be an even darker version of this purple plus some black on top of it to really mix those down and really darken that up. Not supposed to be completely black. Not supposed to be completely black. That's actually a very, very deep purple. So with the majority of the body taken up this way, then I can concentrate on the detail work in the face. Here's the other glove. These are outside of spraying them with maybe a flat or a semi-gloss to knock down that high gloss. These are going to be pretty much done. I'm going to weather them a little bit. When I say weather them, I mean I'm going to shade them a little bit to break up all of that color and put some shadows into it. But that's pretty much it. It's a simple paint job, but if you do it right, it will really knock it out of the park. Okay, and as you can see, I've got the big suit. I got a coat of the base purple on that, and I'm letting it. Actually, I haven't got any on the boots because that's what I was holding it by when I was painting, and this is very cumbersome to hold on to. So I will let this dry, then I will go back out and hold on to it by the top and paint the boots. But this is about the only place I can sit it to dry. So drying it is, and I can, since this post here is where the head attaches, I can test it by touching it to see whether the paint is dry. I've got the bat emblem and the belt taped off so that I can paint those separately later, and once this has dried and I can do the boots, then I will start the other treatments to it. Okay, I think I'm all but finished with the Satellite of Love by itself. Elliot, I hope you'll forgive me that I did not use all of the etch. I ran out of spaces to put it, and I know you gave me some wonderfully elaborate etch to do the satellite dish with, but I chose to use the back of a googly eye instead. I'm sure this all means something, and I will use it on another kit, I am almost positive. But this is the leftover photo etch. And now that I've done with this and I put some smudging and dirt, much like those rings right there, I put some of that similarly on this kit. And now I need to do something funky about the base. And now it's time for a little cape crusading. Doing a little painting on the inside of the cape. First I blocked it in with just a basic coat of chrome yellow, and then I went in with the highlights on a little bit lighter yellow and a little bit darker in the creases. It's just your basic simple tone shading, and what I'll do is let this sit for a while and come back to it a little bit later, see how I like it. I might want to put a slight iridescence over it. I'll let it dry first and then spray it with a satin, clear satin finish and see how I like that. And then I might want to put an iridescence over that like I did Robin's cape. but maybe more subtle than that. Okay, it's Thursday evening, and this is where we're going to leave Batgirl. She's got a couple good coats of the glitter on top. I went out and found some of this purple glitter, not as good, so I don't recommend that. I went back to the original silver glitter. I think it just gives a better overall appearance. And I've got the nice color contrast between the arm and the glove. I've got the cape over here, the inside. I've got nice shades and tones going on in there. And I think I'm ready to take the outside, the tape off of the outside to see how it looks. And still have that arm ready to go in. And then there's the face. The face, oh, that's going to vex me. Okay, I've got some nasty overspray on the outside of the cape that I need to take care of. I like this, but I unfortunately got some yellow into that neck. But I'll let this sit up overnight and then come back tomorrow. That's going to be an easy fix, but a fix it needs to be. And here's where we're going to leave the Satellite of Love for tonight. I've got it up on a wooden base. I've got the circuit board in there. I've got the speaker running out to the tube. Let me see.
So what are we, about a half hour into this movie? No, I'm afraid not. It's more like a minute.
Unfortunately, the sound effects that I can find are not the best quality, so...
Hey, somebody... Joel, this is going to turn into a snuff film. Oh, the Mads won't do this. This is not a snuff film, I guarantee you.
There you go. I'll get this painted and get the buttons installed tomorrow. Good morning and happy Friday to you. It is Friday, like I just said, and we are going to be wrapping up the Satellite of Love today. I am almost sure. We might even get Batgirl to where she's almost done, except for that face, which is going to be the subject of its own video, I'm sure. A little bit last night, I put a coat of black on the base. I'm working on the working on the Stone Knives and Bearskin amplifier here. No electronics necessary. What this is just the speaker with a little bit of an extension on it and sitting up on some feet and a plain old plastic tube that I have beveled to a nice angle. And when you sit the two of them like that, it's a natural amplifier. I'm not going to play the whole theme because it's very long, but that's even longer.
These are my robots, Tom Servo and crew, and I'm...
Joel, this is going to turn into a snuff film.
Oh, the Mads wouldn't do this. This is not a snuff film, I guarantee you.
There you go. Found a little audio program online to help me amplify those sounds, so they're coming out a lot better. I want to slap a coat of paint on that before I glue it to the base because it's not as pretty as it's going to be. But I am cutting out the links now for the buttons in my famous, old low-tech buttons on pinheads, using pinheads, and just so they reach down and touch the pressure-sensitive part on the switches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these shafts and get them installed. Before I do that, let's take another look at where Batgirl is. I ran over the base again this morning because I was getting some errant sparkles on it that I didn't like. So I've painted that again, or just hit another coat with the stone paints. And the body has had all night to dry. Now I've painted over the boots to get rid of the sparkle from the boots because they should not have that. And I have, let's get this in the base. I've taken the masking off of the chest emblem and the belt so I can paint those today. I have to run out and get some satin clear because I am out of satin clear finish for the gloves. And I have repaired some of the paint lift off from the tape on the back of the cape. So let me remove the tape on the inside and we'll see if there's any patching there that needs to be done. What do you know, it came out pretty good. That purple to yellow or purple to gold seam is a bit of a bear. You just have to pick a border and hold to it the whole way down and around. Now there's a little bit here that I have got to retouch, and that's where it folds back on itself. I just need to go in there very delicately with the airbrush and a card and kind of spray that yellow back on there. It's going to get oversprayed and dismayed and all that kind of stuff, but this is looking darn good, and it is when I put it in place, there, even more effective. Like I said, I want to get a satin coat on these gloves before I can glue them in place, and I'd probably end up painting that in by hand. So we'll get those touches on, and I might even get the hair done today. Who knows? But this I'm not even going to touch. This is going to be next week's work. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here you have the finished final Satellite of Love. I used the Gizmotic Institute's logo for the base, and here I have two switches, one for the opening theme and the closing theme, and then three of my favorite clips. Elliot, if you ever do decide to release this kit, I would watch. You've got some pockmarking happening up here. Once I sprayed the primer on, I noticed some of that bubbling showing up. So it doesn't adversely affect this kit because of the nature of the subject, but something you may want to look at if you decide to go ahead and make more of this kit. Now, like I said, I didn't use up all of the etch that I was given, but I think I captured the flavor of it. Thanks again, Elliot. Okay, getting back on the Batgirl. Working on the cowl, which is not black, but a very, very, very deep purple. So deep, it should have its own album. Deep Purple's Greatest Hits. Pick it up at your local store. And we're starting to get in the different tones and shades of the hair, which should be on the red side of brown. Not exactly fright red, but remember this is a wig in the 60s, so the colors are going to be a little poppier than normal. So the hair is starting to get masked in, and got the cowl, the same very deep purple on the ears, almost a black. And I got one more trick up my sleeve on the stand, and we were going to call it quits for the evening. And I think this is where we're going to leave the old Batgirl for the week. We'll steel my nerves and rest up and get ready to paint the face next week, but I've got the stand yet to do. I think the stand went and took a bath in the old purple paint stripper because I did not like the way that the base coat was sticking to it, so it's going to get soaked and stripped over the weekend and repainted. What I'm going to do is, no secret, I'm going to cut out yellow lettering to put on top of it, so that's that. But I think she's coming along quite nicely. I painted in the belt except for where the buckle goes. I want to get that stuck to raw primer. And there's going to be yellow inside the boundaries of that bat. It's just easier to paint over gold than it is to paint over the purple or the primer. So that's ready to go, and then we'll start working on the hair and the face, and that will be the last of it. And that's going to bring our happy work to a close for another week. Not so bad, not too shabby this week. Got one kit finished, the Satellite of Love, and even managed to make the base a little bit more interesting. Make up for the lack of lighting or overall complexity of the kit by adding a little bit to the base. And got a pretty good piece of the Batgirl done. Just saving up my energy for that face. I know I'm going to probably be blowing it into making it more important than it actually is, but painting pretty faces is is definitely out of the comfort zone for me. So I want to get as much of the rest of it done as I can so I can concentrate on it. And I love the way this kit's engineered, because you can do the whole thing and then pop the face in afterwards. So you don't really, it's not really depending on anything to get done to before you can finish the kit. I mean, the only thing you have to do is put the mask on over top of it when you're done. So that's going to do it until next week when we are right back at it. Be good to each other. Have a fine week, and I'll see you here next time.
Batgirl.